Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are talking about one of the most common topics in any conversation, the weather. Whether it's sunny, rainy, or snowy. Talking about weather is a great way to start a conversation, especially when you are learning English. In this episode, we will explore some useful weather related vocabulary and phrases you can use in daily life. Vocabulary for describing weather. Let's start with some basic weather vocabulary like sunny, rainy, windy, cloudy, snowy, humid. These are some of the most common words used to describe the weather. For example, it's a sunny day or it's a cloudy morning. Phrases for talking about weather. When you want to start a conversation about the weather, here are few phrases you can use. It's really hot day, isn't? Looks like it's going to rain later. What's the weather like where you are? Talking about the weather is a great icebreaker, especially when meeting someone new. Discussing weather different seasons. The weather can change depending on the season. In summer, it's usually hot and sunny, while in winter, it might be cold or snowy. Spring brings rain. Spring brings rain and blooming flowers. And autumn often has cool temperatures and falling leaves. Knowing how to talk about the seasons is important for small talk. We will discuss about the common weather expressions. There are also common expressions in English related to the weather. It's rainy cats and dogs. It's raining heavily. It means it's raining heavily. Under the weather. Feeling sick. If you are feeling sick, you can say that I am under the weather. A storm is brewing. When something is bad going to be happen, it's so called a storm is brewing. These idioms are fun ways to express yourself when talking about the weather. Weathers are different in the world. Like, weather varies greatly depending on where you are in the world. Some countries have very mild weather all the year round, while others experience extreme seasons. For example, in tropical regions, it's common to have wet and dry seasons, while places near the poles experience harsh winters with heavy snowfall. There are some tips for learning weather vocabulary. Watch the weather forecast in English to get used to the terminology. Keep a weather diary and describe the day's weather in English. Practice using weather-related idioms in conversation. Now, we will come to the conclusion. That wraps up our episode on talking about the weather. We covered basic weather vocabulary, useful phrases, idiomatic expressions, and more. Remember, talking about weather is a great way to start a conversation in English. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can also practice your weather vocabulary by leaving a comment below describing the weather where you are. Thanks for listening and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.